guys ready? Whose stuff is that?
Dan, so we're just looking for weight for the table.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for joining us here at Point Panic. I guess I couldn't think of a more picturesque and better postcard for these bills that we'll be signing here today. As you know, Hawaii has been a leader in the country and the world in our battle against climate change and sea level rise. And the measures that we are signing today really keeps Hawaii at the forefront of the battle against climate change and sea level rise. I just wanted to acknowledge a couple people before I got into my formal remarks. We do have Julie Secura, the Executive Director of the U.S. Climate Alliance. Is Julie here? Yes, okay. You know, as you know, we joined the U.S. Climate Alliance last year because we as governors knew that the President and the Congress would yield leadership for the fight against climate change. And we as governors wanted to make sure that the United States stays connected and on the forefront of advocating for doing what's right in our battle against climate change and sea level rise. Just wanted to also thank the Blue Planet Foundation Blue Planet Energy for providing the sound system, and it's totally green and renewable because it's powered by photovoltaics. I wanted to thank Chris Lee and the legislators who are here, who really have been a partner in advocating and pushing the envelope for the right policies that continues to keep Hawaii at the forefront of climate change. I also have a number of directors who, on the state executive side, has been leading the state's efforts to make sure that we stay at the forefront of climate change and really take a leadership position here in the Pacific. We have Suzanne Case, who's Director of the Department and Chairman of the Land Board, Department of Land and Natural Resources. We have Scott Glenn, who is the Director of the Office of Environmental Quality. And finally, Leo Assumption, who's the Director of the Office of State Planning. And you know, they have been truly leading the way for all of us in state government to ensure that our climate alliance, and I think most importantly the climate agenda, is first and foremost and upfront in everything that we do as the state government here. I also would like to note that Hiki Analia is anchored offshore. Really, the Polynesian Voyaging Society, in starting their worldwide voyage 3 years ago, I guess 4 years ago now, really to bring attention to the challenges of climate change, and I think most importantly, to really demonstrate the Alliance for recognition of indigenous peoples and really their effort to align cultural preservation and practices with saving our island Earth. Truly took to the global audience the challenges of climate change and sea level rise, and most importantly, I think, demonstrated that it really is island communities that are most greatly impacted by climate change and sea level rise, and that island communities have a very powerful voice in protecting our island Earth and ensuring that the entire planet does the right things to really mitigate climate change and sea level rise. almost a year ago, I signed the bill that made Hawaii the first state in the nation to legally commit to the goals of the climate change agreement, the Paris Agreement, really making a statement that Hawaii wanted to be a leader in the fight against climate change. And since that time, we've seen many things happen. You know, we have experienced the effects of climate change. We've had more severe weather events. King tides have led to severe erosion along our highways. We've had a rain event on Kauai and Oahu, which signaled the largest rainfall in a 24-hour period ever recorded in the history of the United States. So we do know and we do see the impacts of climate change each and every day. So I'll be signing 3 measures here today that I think are very important in ensuring that Hawaii continues to be at the forefront in the battle against climate change and sea level rise. House Bill 2182 is setting the goal of Hawaii becoming carbon neutral by 2045. So it really takes the next step. As you all know, we're committed to be 100% clean renewable energy for electricity generation. This measure really ups the ante and commits to a carbon neutral community here in the islands. It also establishes the Greenhouse Gas Sequestration Task Force, really looking at policies and programs that we need to put in place that would allow Hawaii to make our commitment to carbon neutrality a reality. We do know that this task force will be an integral part to ensuring that we can meet our commitment to the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. House Bill 1986 creates a framework for a carbon offset program to restore our native forest through planting trees and partnerships with businesses and landowners to refresh our aquifers and provide natural habitats for many species. We know and want to ensure that as we make progress in our goals to reduce greenhouse gases, that we want to offer to the country and the world opportunities for other business partners who may not be carbon neutral to invest in projects that would help with carbon sequestration in a way that can be positive and make a statement across the country and around the world. And then finally, House Bill 2106 addresses the issue by requiring a sea level rise analysis in environmental impact statements. You know, as you know, we are looking at all of the rules and regulations at the state, county, federal levels that impact Hawaii, and looking and adding into the environmental impact statement process a requirement that they look at sea level rise as part of that process would really advance ensuring that the impact of sea level rise is taken into consideration in each and every development that requires an environmental impact statement. So I think collectively these 3 bills that I'll be signing today continues and keeps Hawaii at the forefront in the battle on climate change and sea level rise, and I think most importantly assures all of us as we work together as partners in the battle for climate change, assures all of us that we will continue to be at the forefront at thought and thinking, and most importantly in action in the battle against climate change and sea level rise. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chris Lee to say a few words.
I was hoping for a mic drop. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Ige, for your leadership on all of this. There's nothing more important than the future that we leave our kids. And for us here in Hawaii, we know that future is at risk and predicated upon our ability to surmount the challenges that climate change poses to our way of life here in the islands. I think right here, as the governor had stated earlier, we face sea level rise that no generation in Hawaii has yet faced. We've already seen over half a foot, and that's accelerating. The loss of Waikiki Beach alone would mean the loss of about $2 billion to our economy. This is a serious matter. And for us, that's why we take these next steps forward, to make sure that we take action before it's too late, before the costs rise too high. These bills make us the first state to commit to a zero emissions clean economy, and hopefully the first of many to follow. Because ultimately we know that even if we do our part, it's going to take collaborative partnership with other states, which the governor's been leading to bring to the table, in order to address our global challenge and address our issues here in Hawaii. We are also really excited this year because these bills not only address climate and do right by our next generation, but also for us here today, catalyze investment in renewable energy, in local businesses in our economy, in local agriculture, and in farms. Being able to take advantage of carbon credits and the billions of dollars circulating in the broader economy and bring those dollars right here to Hawaii, where they can be invested, creating new jobs and raising our standard of living for everyone. It's something that we think is absolutely essential, but also these aren't just goals. This is something which I think working with all our partners in the public and private sector demonstrates that this is absolutely achievable. Our two largest contributions to greenhouse gas emissions are from electricity, and thanks to the leadership from the PUC and the administration and all our partners who've come before, we're well on our way toward that 100% renewable energy goal by 2045. And thanks to our utilities, chiefly, for not only proving that this can be done, but filing plans to achieve that goal not by 2045, but by 5 years ahead of schedule by 2040, and at a cost savings of over $5 billion. This is a message which can be repeated in other states and demonstrates that doing right for our next generation by addressing climate change today can also mean doing right by our economy, especially right here in the island. The last thing I want to mention is that we are a model, I think, not of a state or a policy or anything else, but of a community that's come together to address and tackle these issues. When you take science seriously, and when you put the interests of people first, it shows here in Hawaii that we can bring Democrats and Republicans, conservatives and liberals, people of all walks of life together to acknowledge that these challenges we face are both real and must be overcome. And that's why these bills were passed with such overwhelming support. Thanks to many of our colleagues in the leadership in the House and Senate, as well as real leadership from the administration to make all of this possible. And so we hope, if anything, that this is a message and a lesson that can be adopted by other states going forward, because it's going to take all of us together to get the job done. So thank you, Governor Ige, for taking the lead on this issue and many others and making this possible today.
As you know, here in the islands, our battle against climate change and global warming has been something shared also by the county governments all across the state. So I wanted to invite Mayor Bernard Cavallo from Kauai to come up and say a few words.
Good morning and aloha.
Aloha.
I'd like to thank Governor Ige once again. You know, we as mayors all pulled together a month ago in Pokai Bay and to really set the direction on green transportation. That was our big thing there in Pokai Bay. And then today we stand here, of course, the Paris agreement that we all supported, we all signed, and to get back to the individual islands. But we're a state separated by ocean, very connected by families and business and communities. And this is just about another example of addressing our climate, our changes in our reefs and our waterways from Alka to Makai. We've experienced some challenges and some destruction on our island, like Hawaii Island, but we are resilient, and times like this we all pull together, and the effort here today will enhance the opportunities for us to be more connected and connect with the importance of climate change. It's happening, everybody, and we got to do something about it. We have to stand united. It doesn't matter if it's from a small island or bigger island. What happens to one island, everybody suffers, and same like everybody else. So with this bills, Rep. Lee, mahalo for that, and all of us working collectively in addressing this as a state is very important. Just want to share a little bit on the projects on Kauai that, you know, it's starting to move, whether it be our Aloha Plus Challenge, which we continue to support, in clean energy and waste reduction and natural resource management and waste, you know, food sustainability. All of it ties into the bigger picture. Honoring our land, the water, the moku, the ahupua'a is very important, I believe, we believe. So the decisions we make of today has to be tied to what happened in the past, so our future can flourish regarding this particular subject matter. And that is the culture, the aina, the land, the water, the people. So this support here today is truly a cooperative type of partnership, and I totally support it. And we can go on different projects and all that, but be assured that we can show many different examples from transforming our island to walkable, bikeable, complete streets, safe routes to school kind of thinking, and then coming down to the subsistence area, and Maka'ala Kamoana is here in Hanalei Bay, where we actually supported an effort with taking care of our reefs and our fish right now as we speak with Hui Maka'aina o Makana, and then we go up into the mountainside and replenish our forests. So from the forest replenishment to the reef replenishment to just an overall global perspective on how we manage the future of our state. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership, and Representative Lee and all of us here, fellow mayors. Be assured that we're committed to a green future, green energy, cultural connection to everything that we do is important. And mahalo for the opportunity to say a few words. Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, I'm going to invite Will Okabe, Managing Director of the County of Hawaii, who has taken some time off from all of the activities connected to the Kilauea eruption. Thank you, Governor. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Governor.
I think that the first thing I'd like to say is thank you, Governor, for your leadership. Representative Lee. You know, we really have to look at what's happening on the Big Island, of how precious it is in the place that we live. It's such a precious place that we sometimes take things for granted. And I think with the Governor's leadership today and 1 year ago with the Paris Agreement, teaches us, number one, that we need to be proactive. We need to look at our environment, we need to look at the place that we live, and to send a very clear message, not only to the rest of the nation, but to the whole world. This is an opportunity for Hawaii, again, with these three bills, to actually show that the commitment that we have in Hawaii to lead the way of looking at our environment. So now when I look at what's happening on the Big Island, it is a natural disaster. We're not able to do anything about it. But these bills today, we can change things. We can make things happen in regards to how we live and how we look at the future. And I think that is a clear message that Governor is talking about, is having a message about what we are doing in the future. It's about our children, our grandchildren, and all of you here today, with your commitment to be here today, shows that commitment. I mean, I didn't know where this place was, to tell you the truth. But Point Panic, is that what it is? It's a beautiful day here on Oahu. You know, on the Big Island, the volcano, the lava is going to basically 5% of the Big Island. All the islands can fit on the Big Island. And we lead the way in everything. We have hydropower, we have photovoltaic, we have biomass energy that's coming up. But all of you know that we also have geothermal. The lava evidently had gone around the geothermal plant, and basically it supplies about 25% of the energy. We're not really sure what's going to be happening, but the lava just seems to go around the whole PGB plant. And we have to look at alternative energies. We need to be the forefront in regards to what's happening in Hawaii. And again, I want to thank you, Governor, for showing the leadership in doing that for the state and also for the rest of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to get set up for the bill signing.
You have to sign it fast before it closes.
Last week, roughly.
No, it's Do you want to call up the legislator?
Yeah. You got to pull it out of it. Yeah. Just like to invite the legislators and the directors up.
Mic drop. One of you hold this down, please. Thank you.
Official team overtime pay. Local 147.
Okay, first up we have House Bill. Bring the microphone and I can just. Oh, yeah. Good. Thanks. First bill I'll be signing is House Bill 2182, House Draft 2, Senate Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to environmental protection. House Bill 2182 is now Act 15 and law in the state of Hawaii. Next is House Bill 1986, House Draft 2, Senate Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to the environment. Which is now Act 16. And then finally, House Bill 2106, House Draft 3, Senate Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, relating to environmental protection. Which is now law as Act 17. Congratulations to everyone involved.
Would you like to hold them open with photos?
Oh, sure. Yeah.